I think that most of the world feels, apart from how scary the leaders of North Korea have been, most of the world feels just bad for the North Koreans, right? If we could, we would help these people. The fruits of the Arab Spring are at best ambiguous at this point, where we were faced with the Soviet Union that was, for all of the flaws and all the ideological quirks, this was not a death cult and did not have the basis of being a death cult. These were rational actors, and their hopes and fears and aspirations were constrained by terrestrial concerns. When you're playing a game of chicken with someone who wants to get to paradise, you're screwed.
I'm afraid that what people are, they're going to take you seriously, right? You're doing it as a hypothetical, and you're doing it as a game theory, etc. But neocons can easily take that and who desperately want to attack Iran, right? And other people and your fans and people that are reading you, that are watching, etc., can think, well, yeah, these guys they all want to commit suicide, they all want to go to heaven, and we got to hit them. And we are significantly concerned that they have acquired a nuclear weapon. I would never do a first strike, because you're going to kill hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of innocent people.
Disarmament is something that we should absolutely attempt, but again, it's a difficult thing to do, given that the technology can't be uninvented, given that no,
I'm not very liberal in that regard. I don't believe disarmament is possible. I hope I'm wrong.
What you're not granting is that one could ever be pushed to the brink of where self-defense became synonymous with using your biggest weapons.
I'm not granting that. And the reason, Sam, is because we don't live in a hypothetical world.
What did we actually want to do with Germany? If we had true power, and in this case we ultimately did because we won the war, what did we want? We wanted sane collaborators. We wanted peaceful, honest people who we could do business with, right? And we wanted the same in Japan, and we helped build up these societies. What does ISIS want? Fundamentalism is only a problem if the fundamentals are a problem, right? So fundamentalist Jainism is nobody's problem.
I know, but the fundamentals of Christianity is wrong, the fundamentals of Judaism is wrong.
If we had enough things happening in the world that seemed to be a confirmation of prophecy, who knows what an evangelical president could be capable of, right?
All terrifying. Number one danger in the world, by the way.
So bad ideas and bad circumstances and bad incentives can allow for good people to behave like absolute monsters. That's much scarier than the few monsters in the world. Even somebody like George Bush, who I thought was a disaster and a terrifying ignoramus in many ways, if you asked what would he have done, what would he have done with Iraq if he could have just done anything he wanted, right? He'd just go in there, change the government. Is he going to just start letting American troops rape and kill and pillage? And no, he would have made Iraq like Nebraska.
Give them the internet, give them our culture, do the culture wars, and I don't mean hostile. I mean, hey, isn't this a better way of life? What do you need the 72 virgins in heaven for? I got 72 girls in Vegas that are better.
Which is worse, waterboarding somebody or blowing them up? But
it's a false choice again, Sam.
It's not a false choice.
No,
there are situations
because first of all, there's two things that happen out of that. One, you give the Cheneys of the world permission to use torture. They go, look, reasonable guys who call themselves liberal like Sam Harris, who are very secular, telling me that torture is right under some circumstances. I got Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Of course I'm going to torture him.
There are situations where you know someone has information, right? Now, not every situation is like that, but you have to grant that there are situations where you know you're talking to the guilty guy, right? He might even claim to be the guilty guy. He claims he's got the information. He claims he's got a bomb that's going to go off, right? There are situations like this, and sometimes there are small situations that have nothing to do with the war on terror or I mean, they're just crime situations where someone has got somebody locked in a box somewhere, right? And he's not talking, right? If you can't imagine a situation where you would beat someone up so as to get them to talk, you're not thinking hard enough. There are circumstances where you would have to be a monster not to lay hands on the bad guy.
Sam,
you're not you're just not imagining those circumstances.
No. So let me clarify, because this is important, right? So I'm not saying that torture has never worked and will never work under any circumstance. What I am saying is that, number one, it is unlikely to work. Not that it never works, that it is unlikely to work, and I'll tell you why in a second. And that, number two, it has such terrible consequences, both in terms of what we are doing to our captors and what we are doing to our own morality, and the message we're sending to the rest of the world about whether we're good guys or bad guys, that I wouldn't do it. I might not do it even if I thought that it was absolutely going to work.